Welcome everyone. Welcome to TechTalk Friday. Sorry for the delay. We had some technical difficulties because today we are trying something brand new. We are trying to actually do a live shoot, but not in a studio, in my house. And unfortunately, with three cameras and a whole bunch of other things tend to go wrong, especially the audio. So hopefully you can hear us now. If you can hear us now, put out a loud comment. Yes, we can hear you. We have Karamjit Singh in the house. So let me get our guest Karam. Karam's not a guest, but
Yes.
our weekly stalker, Karam, who's always stalking our guests. And today we have a great guest from GoGet. I mean, Karam, very quick introduction to
So
Francesca.
look, first of all, the technical issues was because I came very late for the show. So let me just put my leg up and admit I came very late. I was just trying to get a story published because it's Alibaba, and they just opened up the applications for their fourth e-commerce 3-month program, right, for Malaysian only entrepreneurs. So go to the website and sign up for the link. But so I'm late here for the show. We have on today a guest who was supposed to come on about 4 weeks ago, and she did not because she forgot. But we don't blame her because she's busy building a business, and you got no time for two Indian guys talking nonsense and spewing hot air. When you're trying to build a global business or regional business at least, right? So we totally don't blame her. But she, being the nice person that she felt really bad, and she decided to hey, let's do a show, physically present, socially distant. That's why I'm sitting far away from them, and she's going to buy us dinner after this. And without further ado, that's
the only reason Karam is here. Okay. And now
yes,
you say
food brought me here. Yes.
Without further ado, Francesca, very interesting GoGet, right? You guys raised $2 million US. And it was very interesting in this tough, very almost challenging times that we have, right? So I think that's interesting, but also I think many people don't know GoGet. Yeah. So maybe you can briefly tell us very quickly what GoGet is. And more interestingly, how you managed to raise so much in this turbulent time.
Sure. So a little bit of background on GoGet is we are a on-demand workforce platform that connects businesses to verified part-timers. These part-timers are called GoGetters. So GoGetters are anyone who's able, willing, and honest who wants to earn flex. They can come in here and get verified and find jobs. So the power of what we do is we actually connect the city and create work. And for the first time, essentially, a small business like a florist, instead of hiring full time, they can say, well, today maybe I have one task that I could get my city members to actually run, and I can crowdsource it. So they send the job out to someone in the community, and someone picks it up and gets it done. For the florist, they get a safe cost. They don't have to hire full time. They get to scale the operations, and that's really what we do.
Fantastic. And talk to us about the funding. What was the reason to get funding?
Yeah.
Were there some plans, or what were you had some growth?
For sure. I think a little bit of background for those who actually at least do know a little bit of where we came from for 6 years. So we've been around actually quite a while, decades. So it's not just suddenly popped up, right? And because of that, we've had a very interesting journey. The first 2 years, the first year when we were live or rolled out, we did fundraise. We had 500 startups. And with 500 startups, they were.
So they were one of your initial.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. You got Kelly breathing now. Your neck, man. Show me the money, Francesca.
Yes, basically that. No, actually, Kylie's been one of my best brainstorm partner to be with. He's really awesome. Like, there's so many times where I can go, hey, Kylie, I have like a question. And he's like, yeah, come on over. He has like a big sheet of paper, like marker pens, and he asks you like, okay, go, draw it out. And like, oh, really? Okay. Really? Didn't know how to be a really good artist, but let's go. So it's been really awesome. He's also one of our power users that uses GoGet in very interesting ways. He gives us really interesting feedback to go like, hey, have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? So very awesome. And then we have actually raised with any institutional funds until 2020, right? 2020.
So just 500.
Until now, we basically had no funding. Yeah. We turned on a revenue tab in 2016. So that's kind of some of our financials, right? And I think when we did in 2016, it was so interesting because the moment we turn on the revenue tab, it starts telling you like, hey, this is the part that makes money. This is the part that doesn't make money, right? And how are you going to focus your attention, right? And so it started actually clicking. So within around a year and a half, so by the end of 2017, beginning of 2018, we actually operationally broke even. So we run GoGet with a really small team. We actually still have, we had 14 people in 2017. Until 2020, we still had 14 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then 2020 was the big break.
And then 2020, the reason why we fundraised was because there was many meetings that I would have, and the team would say, "Karam, we have so many things we need to do," and then I would constantly be saying, "No, but we're using the profits for the business, and we're organically turning it into the company, and then we're slowly growing, and that's like really slow." Right?
Yep.
And
I know that.
Yeah, so it got to the point where it was actually, to me, affecting the potential that we could reach. So I went to the market, can I fundraise to actually do two things: one, to really invest in our technology, and invest in and kind of deepen. And then two, is actually to widen our awareness, people know about GoGet, and we can get actually more users and create a bigger impact. So that's really why we fundraised.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
And so, your journey, right, must have been full of different challenges and stuff like that. I know a lot of startups look, many people say by the third year, most startups kind of collapse generally.
Yeah.
So you have 6 years under your belt.
Yeah.
You must have done something well, and you must have learned some interesting lessons along the way. What were some of those? I mean, if you could share some of these for our viewers out there.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was that huge pivotal moment in 2015 and 16. No, really probably 2016 to 2017. Even though I told you just now that I went from turning on the revenue tab in 2016 to then breaking even by the beginning of 2018. I think at the midpoint of that was we had a 3-month run rate.
Okay.
Right. And I remember going, okay, firstly, let's be really transparent to our team. We told our teammates, and we were like, I need to let you guys know this is the situation. But the reason was because I remember this so clearly. We had not turned on the revenue tab for so long that we had a go-getter come into us in the office, and he was like, Francesca, when are you going to turn on the revenue? Like, when are you going to charge us? And I was like, what? And this is a go-getter. He's like, you need to charge us, because if you do not charge us, we don't know if you're going to be around. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we are so late in charging, right?
Charging meaning
we were basically a nonprofit for 2 years.
Okay.
I made no revenue, right? And so, when we turned it on, because we realized one of our biggest lessons, we optimized for the wrong metrics when we fundraised a bit too early before we figured out our value. And so when we shifted over to understanding what we actually brought as value, and we had a revenue tab, we finally actually spent our efforts building proper product and building product market fit. So we would call these users that would actually use us so much. We say, hey, why do you use 12 go-getters in a day? And I remember this so clearly. If you remember Ili, Dish by Ili, one of the local famous chefs here, right? Yeah. She was one of our users, and she would order like 12 go-getters in the day to come and just pick up like her tiffins and then send them off, right? And I didn't know that, so I was like, what are you doing? And she was like, oh, I own a business and I have a lot of tiffins. Can you please send them for me so I can focus on the kitchen? This whole time, I was building the business for consumers. So I said, how do you manage this app with 12 live jobs at the same time? And she was like, it's really painful. It's horrible. So then we actually went down that list, and we ticked the box of like every feature she wanted, and a lot of other businesses, whatever they wanted, we actually ticked off those boxes. And then it just got much stronger product market fit. And then that's how we actually went from 3-month run rate to then profitable, right? So I think my biggest lesson was actually sometimes when you fundraise too early, before you know your call, you will probably optimize for the wrong things. Until you actually have that revenue on, you can probably focus on the right efforts.
Very good. I see some comments coming in. Karam, you got to fix your mic. I think you need to mute. Your mic is picking up the audio. So Karam is here. We brought him here. we flew him here. I said, Karam, get your butt out. And he, this new teleportation machine. There you go. So Karam's with us today. And so hopefully everyone can hear, what's happening. I think Karam, go ahead.
No, for me, I guess she explained the troubles and challenges of the business, right? And after the initial round of fundraising, I know when you got invested by 500 startups, there was a buzz about the company, and you being young, right? And and being dynamic with your co-founder. Hey, this company can go somewhere. And that time it was the hot niche, to do on-demand services. The gig economy. And then you kind of then disappeared after about 9 months, 2 years. Like into where. And I actually thought you had like quietly just died away. And people are embarrassed to say we're closing down. Thanks. We had a good run. But you were there, and I think those were the dark times, right? It's also the moment of truth, right?
Yeah.
Where you're not sexy anymore, but you're trying to build the business, and your staff coming, hey, when are we going to start earning revenue? And you're slowly iterating and learning and improving, and it's not huge steps. Sometimes it's incremental steps, right?
Yeah.
And it's incredible, but that's where you, as entrepreneurs, you like. I guess you to use the analogy. The only analogy that's coming to mind is where you end up having you grow hair on your chest now. Just to put it, it's a very poor analogy, but where you get real, right? Oh my goodness, all the battle scars happen then. You learn what's right, what's not right. And you learn the truth about you and your co-founders also. Are you really in this because you thought you could make it work? You really want to help, the gig economy workers, right? If it was just about the revenue, I think you all would have died and given up. Somebody would have given up.
Correct.
And I think that's important because all of you, and it can be seen from the recent announcement also, you're interesting that you're just so focused, Roshan, on trying to build a sustainable livelihood for your go-getters.
Yeah.
And I think that really struck a chord with me. I say, hey, Francesca and GoGet are genuine, and it's very rare. I said that of an entrepreneur, and I've never told you this before, right?
No.
And they say, wow, they're genuine, and they really trying to make a difference.
Blushing,
No, not blushing. Maybe she's saying, what the hell is she? About? But you're trying to really make a difference to the lives of the people you're working with. Because let's get real, right?
Yeah.
It's not your degree holder or even your diploma holder who ends up wanting to be a gig economy worker, right? So, and I felt really good that you're genuinely trying to make that happen. And with this COVID thing now, and economists are talking about, we have to focus not on economic parameters, but social parameters, which have an economic multiplier later on. Make sure people are taken care of well, right? And do right by your staff, right? By your people. And you're trying to do that, right? Yes. The first one, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the first one to actually work with EPF and to try to get them EPF and SOCSO. So with SOCSO is very important. I finally met someone, for those of you who don't know, it's like the Social Security Agency of Malaysia, where if you get hurt and injured during the job, it will, and then you get yourself bonded out. It actually, you'll get a monthly payment by this organization, like for life or whatever, I finally met someone who was benefiting from that. I said, oh my God, this agency, this product really works. Yeah. And you already did that for all your go-getters. So in a way, that's a backstop for them. If something bad happens, right, they know they'll be taken care of and their loved ones. So that's amazing that years ago you thought of that. And it took like 2 years, I know, to get it right. So power to you to do that. And this is the mantra of all gig economy organizations now. Feels like you're ahead of the curve. What more are you doing to make sure that your staff also really know that you're there for them, and it's not just you trying to milk them to become, to become rich or whatever?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow, that was a long-winded,
to ask one question, but then
I think you're absolutely right though. That moment was so crucial because what are you really in it to really care for the problem? And I have said this to many people that, like, if you do want to start a business, I really hope you care for the problem really deeply, because you will be slapped and pushed and you'll be beaten down to the floor. And if you really don't care about it, you will not get up. Right. And I remember this so clearly. My co-founder and I, because you mentioned it just now, we were at that 3-month runway, and it was getting to 2 months, and we were just like almost nosediving. And I go, his name is Feng. I was like, what would we do if this happens? And he looked at me with literally there was like no hesitation. I remember this, we were in a car, and he goes, we just start again, just you and I. Unfortunately, we can't pay the staff, but we've learned so much in the last 2 years. We just do it again. And I'm like, okay, we just do it again. Right? And that was just like an insane moment where I was like, oh my God, this guy is my ride and die.
No, that's your moment of truth, right? Because you ask him something and you answer spontaneously. It's your subconscious sending you a thought, and you're answering it. You're not filtering and say, hey, I don't like this thought. I think maybe we give it our best, we'll give up. So that's beautiful. Then you're with the right partner, and you're willing to be roadkill. That means flat on the road, right? Just give it all 100%.
Correct. Yeah. And to us, like, that part of always building the community has always been so core, right? Sometimes, other people have argued like, oh, you're too focused on that community side, not focused on getting that marketing side. So we've always had to like balance that. But for us, it's always been people, because even everyone who joins the company, you have to be a go-getter. So we actually make them be a go-getter, make them be a user, because we say you need to understand every part of it. We cannot run this company if we don't, right? And then we have community events with our go-getters so that we can engage them. And they actually, I would say 90% of our platform today now is definitely built by feedback from the community.
Wow.
Definitely not by us.
90%.
Yeah,
That makes it a powerful
huge.
platform.
Yeah.
It's molded by your users.
Very
What
much
more
so.
powerful
Very
product do
much
you want?
so. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We have
So-
like these, we
No.
have like these like company
Uh-huh.
values, and one of them is grounded, and it means grounded on the community, so that the community actually builds it. Yeah.
Nice. No, so there's been it's been a tough show today, because people are commenting here and there, but Puba says it's a good show as usual. So well done, Karam, in spite of your echo and all the craziness, So we're gonna take a very short break right now. We're gonna take a very quick break, and we'll be right back right after our special Nicole advertisement. So check it out, Nicole, necole.app. Oh shit! Are you sure? Wait now.
Taking a break. Taking a break now.
Okay, Nicole's gonna finish it.
Okay, got it.
Okay, welcome back to Tech Talk Friday, and Karam, Francesca's with us today. We always have this special where we do a test the guest challenge.
Oh dear.
And so our producer's gonna sort of key us in on. He's prepared a couple of. Excuse me. So I gotta look down at my test the guest challenge. So I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions, friend, and you're gonna answer. And if you cannot answer, right, you can make Karam answer.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Wait, so I can just give it to him?
Yeah, but you have to answer at least 4 out of the 5.
Oh, right.
So
you get one like you get one Tai Chi question.
Yeah.
I can Tai Chi one.
and he has to answer it in a very truthful way.
And
So
he answers it on behalf of me, or he answers it for himself?
for himself,
myself,
of course.
I
Now,
don't like that.
so question 1: if you had a time machine and you could change one thing in the past, what would it be and why?
Wait, nothing to do with GoGet or with GoGet?
Anything.
No, nothing.
Oh,
Anything. This is just
I'll
a
probably
test.
be like,
You're all powerful, omnipresent,
Oh,
omnipotent,
dear.
man. One thing in the world you could change.
this is such. I love these questions. It's just like,
Oh.
okay.
Just
do I
didn't
have
wanna
to do it
get
fast? Do I have to do it fast?
If you can,
Okay.
Karam will jump in. He always has an answer for everything.
No, I don't.
See, this time you didn't even inform her about this test. That's unfortunate, but never mind.
I guess just I think probably my high school, I would love to have been bolder and like more confident. I think I was really shy actually as a child growing up. And I think I could have done so much, right? So
Some people are just late bloomers, right? I was like that. Only in university did I, become the Karamji that people know me today. Only in university.
there you go.
Yeah, it's like crazy.
Okay, so question 2: what's the food that you think is closest to tech?
Food.
That's closest to tech.
Technology.
Wow, that's interesting.
Which food would you, or what food would you kind of
Probably
assign
like the
GoGet?
My Burger Lab burgers. Like honestly, I think like they have like the inventions that are like
Okay.
like based on local taste, but they'll make it suitable with this new invention of a burger, turn it into a burger, and then make the taste like
Okay.
all super yummy in your mouth, right?
So okay.
That's awesome.
Okay, and if I were to ask a question, what food comes closest to representing GoGet? What would that be?
Oh,
Oh, something that you eat in community, like as a group. Is
Bread.
there something where you
Can
like
break bread together.
eat on?
chapan lah, chow bao,
No,
chapan,
like-
right? Or a
Like
buffet
it has
line.
to be. It has to be like one
Economy,
plate.
right?
I don't know if you've seen Nigerian food, but you
Oh,
all eat
okay.
from this massive plate. Probably
Right,
the worst
right.
COVID-friendly
Yeah,
thing to
yeah,
say
yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
But like Nigerian food, you eat in this massive plate, and you can eat
Just take
like
whatever
this.
you
Yeah,
want.
and it's,
Okay,
it's awesome.
that's good. Communal. Okay,
Communal.
if you could switch your profession without any consequence,
Yeah.
what would you be now?
I actually think I would love to be in the education industry. I don't know what I would be in the education industry. I just feel so
Maybe we
passionate about the
should swap,
education
you know.
industry. Oh yeah, that's true.
I run GoGet and you run Little. We'll do that. Okay, name one person you'd like to switch lives with right now.
Does it have to be a person? Because it's something else.
You can be.
It's my dog. Like, I swear, my dog has the best life. You know, my dog just like sleeps in the aircon room.
Garfield the
You
dog.
know, when she wants to get petted, just comes to me, gets petted. Has food always. You know, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful day.
No, that's a horrible life for me. There's no intellectual stimulation there. Oh my God. Dude.
Okay, and last question. Describe 2020 for you in one word. See, you passed, you get this right and you're done,
Intense.
Intense. I agree, It's extremely intense.
For me, it would be brutal.
Yeah, it's been a tough year for everyone. Karam, we talked a lot about, so you passed the test. So what happens is you can actually ask Karam to pay for dessert.
Oh, wonderful. Because I was going to order a huge cake.
That's the price.
Look for durian that's out of season.
Oh, out of season? No.
I think so.
So Karam, let's talk about tech stories.
Okay.
Any
So
good
really,
tech stories?
I think there's one, and because my social media manager told me that they got quite a bit of traction, and on Monday, the national, our national E&E association had their yearly forum. Okay, our national E&E association had their yearly forum, and we attended it virtually, of course. And one of the sessions was about how do you thrive in this environment. And one of the panelists was a guy called Dr. Jordan Jiang, and he's the group CEO and GM of a company called IEI Integration Group. And this is a company that started out as a supplier of computer components, and today has moved way up the value chain, and they are supplier and they're partner of some of the largest tech companies in the world. So he was asked the question, how do you stay relevant and how do you chart through all the uncertainty now? And his answer was simple. He said, that's simple. He said, follow the leader. So now when you're in the supply chain of the global, global supply chain, and you're in the supply chain, you're not the producer of the technology. He says follow the leader means follow the likes of Intel or Samsung or whoever, follow their technology roadmap. But the big guys now, they don't do it all themselves. They want someone else to do some part of the ecosystem. Say partner with them and they will channel the business to you. So they reduce their capex cost. You take on that. But because you're doing what they want, they will then give you the business. And interesting enough, there was another panelist called Dr. E.K. Tan, who's the CEO and founder of GoGet. So GoGet is a Malaysian company that's in the supply. They make systems. They make systems for the likes of Tesla and Google, right? Incredible company doing incredible stuff. And what totally struck me about EK was, this is a company, Roshan, that has been around for 27 years. So they were a small, component supplier, very low down the value chain. And in his 24th year, he said that, look, you got to innovate, and we decided to innovate in our 24th year. And 3 years after that, they went for listing last year, June, and their market cap today is like 4 billion ringgit. Wow. 4 billion ringgit, a 27-year-old company now that decided they need to innovate in year 24. And I cannot even imagine the mentality, the grit, the tenacity of an entrepreneur who, and you're telling her about, once you hit the year 10, you become stable and comfortable. Obviously, this was somebody who had found a niche and was comfortable, but it was not enough for him, right? He said, guys, we got to innovate, we can do more. And I really
the same founder, right?
Yeah, the same founder.
For 24 years.
I want to get into the mind of somebody like that. And what made you still be hungry to say that we need to innovate and move up the value chain in your 20th year, right? To say we can do this, astounding, right? And the proof is in the proof of the pudding is in the eating, right? 5 billion ringgit market cap. You can go online to Great Tech. It's called Great and then Tech, but with only one T, right? The company is Great Tech. And look at their chart over the last 1 year, you will see the truth. Amazing guy. But also he makes an important point. He said, guys, he thinks that MIDA, which is the Malaysian Industrial Development Agency, it is an agency that tries to bring in foreign investors in the country. He said that the focus of MIDA is wrong. He said MIDA is so intent on just bringing in foreign investors, you're just giving them a blank check or giving them everything they want. But the key thing that's missing is you're not mandating that they must, when they come to Malaysia, they must work for 1 year with a company, with an SME company. Bring somebody into your supply chain right away, work with them for 1 year. After that, assess what went right, what went wrong, and see whether you can further improve, work with them, or you drop them. And he said that should be a condition of us, giving so many benefits to foreign companies, manufacturing companies coming in. And I think coming from someone who has been through the wars, and I think that's very sound advice that MIDA must take. By the way, I spoke to somebody who has worked with Maida before. He said that Maida is afraid of doing that because then the investor will say that if you're making this a condition, then we're going to walk away. So the flip side of that is like apparently
you may lose.
Maida feels that we are not strong enough, right,
Yeah.
to make that a mandate. But
Yeah.
I think we need to, because Rafida Aziz, the former Malaysian Minister for International Trade, in year 2001, she already declared that Malaysia is not a low-cost manufacturer anymore. We do not want low-cost businesses coming to Malaysia. We are now we are moving into from the mid-tier. We are mid-tier, and we want to move to the high value chain. So I think you've got to make some of these hard decisions, right?
Yep.
And the talent pool is there. If you speak to the Malaysian companies, the companies that are here, they say there is a good, strong talent pool of Malaysia in this, manufacturing space for people who work on the shop floor, middle level managers, and even senior level management. So I think Maida needs to have more confidence in the ecosystem in Malaysia and make that a condition, because we are a very attractive country still in the global space, right? To be a destination for people to build their manufacturing base.
So and I like, you talk about this 24 years and then suddenly innovate. Right? I think it's a good lesson for everyone, right? It's never too late to change, to adapt, to reinvent yourself. Right? I mean, it's never too late. And I think many times, if you look at many entrepreneurs, they build and then they have to wait for their son and their daughter and others to come in and do that innovation, right? But I mean, that's a great story to say that. And I work for General Electric for many years. And that was a story of every 20 years, a new guy comes in, 125 years of constant innovation, right? And when that stopped, that's where the company started to crumble, to some extent. I mean, with Jeff, right? So I think that's a great lesson, that it's never too late, regardless of whatever the timing is, So that's tech stories for
there's
this
a
week.
lot more, but I think this was the one that really stood out. And like I said earlier, I think Alibaba Business School just announced that they're opening up the 4th batch intake for their Netpreneur training program. I don't know how many people they accept, but participation is free, enrollment is free. So get yourself registered and hope that they choose you, right? They just opened today, so you can be one of the early birds. Go to the DNA article, read it, and log in and apply. Okay.
Fantastic. So we're gonna take another quick short break, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna close this up. I'm gonna ask Fran to give us some advice. What some key lessons learned. What sort of advice can you give to some of our viewers, especially those starting up, and or in the stage where I'm one, right? We're in a stage where we're doing what you have already successfully done, trying to raise funds, trying to scale our business, trying to grow in this new era, right? So we're gonna take a quick short break, and we're gonna actually have a quick another little video, and this time it's in Hokkien.
你有捌聽啲咧叫 app 叫 Nicole
是什麼？
唔是啦，我甲你講 app 了嘛。嘅你看啲 Nicole 你看，伊加了有真正是 article、podcast、courses 嘅啊。我甲你講啊，你愛變好命，你愛好命。
愛好命啊，定啲
你愛趁錢無？
趁錢類咯。
啊，所以啊，你特別用 Nicole，真係講，你讀了啦，你看伊 article 嘅了，你讀了，你變真高嘅，知無？
唔嘢無，嚟我看啲。
有影你看啲 article 看按怎好命，按怎趁錢類，哇！呀，你講他，
你一個看好了嘛，真來就高。
有啦，甲你講了嘛，你咪聽，當今你特別去看，特別看個了，讀個了，
你講你真高啦
，OK，好，你先好到來。
Okay, welcome back, and we Nicole is. I'm very proud of Nicole actually. So so if you Sasha, our producer, will put up a link, necole.app. It's a cool app. Very good learning tool. So I'm gonna make a quick plea. Sorry.
No, I think if you say you're proud of Nicole, but I'm gonna ask, has Nicole been shaped by users as GoGet has been?
Will be, right?
Will be.
Because Nicole, like the communities are very key. So whether it's the firefighter community or whether it's the nursing community or whether it's the ultimately those communities are what's going to define Nicole. So but more of that later. I think what I want to close out is, Fred, I want to get a bit of your advice. You talked about a number of things that you guys are doing well. I think the way you shape your values, the way you held the team together, in times of in very trying times, right? And now, if you could impart some advice to others, who may also be in this point where some of them may feel like giving up, like you did at one point. You said your 2017 story, or you were at this place where, look, I've only got 3 months of a runway. Some others were like 1 month of runway. What sort of advice would you impart, to our general viewers in terms of, the challenge of running a business, what you should be thinking about as an entrepreneur, and how do you have this resilience and this ability to tahan or have that grit, right, to keep going strong?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, lots of kind words. It's really tough journey. So, I think I go through it very bumpily. But
I think we all do, right?
Yeah. And maybe just a few things that I've learned. Actually, it didn't come naturally. It was taught onto me as that happened. One was, this seems odd, but you definitely, if you're in a really tough situation and if you're in really, really high stress, your body and your mind goes into a state that removes your open-mindedness and ability to look at options. Right? It's actually a biological thing also that high stress and anxiety will actually close your mind.
At a time when you actually need more clarity, it's counter.
That's what your body does, right? So in your mind. So I think one main thing I would say, if you're really under high stress, please take a step back, go have dinner, go whoever your shoulder you normally lean on, you need that balance a little bit, or make sure you take your run, because you may either keep, if you don't, you may either keep driving that car and you put the accelerator even faster, even though the emergency brake is up, and then you're burning your tires, and it's just gonna keep spinning, and the rubber's gonna smell, right? So just take your hand off actually a little bit, and just step off. And I think that's why it's so important that actually leaders doesn't have to be the person top. Leaders can be anyone.
All across.
But as long as leaders have that awareness of self and also a little bit of balance, you need to be able to take care of yourself. I think that was a huge thing, because it's kind of like you put the airplane, right? You put it on yourself.
You're gonna save yourself first,
right? Because you may actually, because you don't do this, you make your company go do something else wrongly, and then it would have been the wrong knee-jerk reaction, and then you can't explain why you chose to do that.
But this self-awareness is it's so difficult. I think most people, you don't have that self-awareness, so you need know it before you go in. Then because now that I know this, before I start or when I start, I would appoint someone. Hey, please, when you see me doing something stupid or mad or crazy, please give me 2 slaps and try to wake me up, shake me out of it. Don't just agree with the way I think it's going to go. But you almost need that outside party or somebody internal to be that voice of honesty, right? But it's hard to rely on yourself.
Well, actually, what they found is that personally, everyone has your own telltale signs.
Oh, okay.
Either some people do this, or sometimes you get really stressed shoulders.
Okay.
Or your heart will start beating because you're high stress.
Yes.
You'll notice something about what typically happens when you are in high stress situations.
Okay.
So you need to just pick that up and then make sure if you see it, you gotta go, wait, re-trigger my mind and don't. I need to open my mind, right? Because if you notice, if you're in such a high stress situation and your staff suggests something, you'd be like, no, just do this. I think we just gotta do this. Right, and then it's just a whole.
And I think that point, because sometimes we are not self-aware. That's where our mentors, the importance of having other people
But
to
mentors,
call it out.
I said mentors only work if they're in close contact with you. If they're not, they won't know the stress you go through. I think mentors. I disagree with the mentors being able to identify this right away. Unless you're having a weekly conversation with a mentor, video or face-to-face, then anything longer than that. Anything longer than 2 weeks, I think the mentor cannot.
I think you'll be surprised, because sometimes you just need an outlet to help, unleash yourself. And when you tell a mentor, they're able to. I've had my mentor George Coriza. Many times when we talk, he's like, "Look, Roshan, this. He shows you all these things that you're not seeing, and then you realize that your stress is clouding you."
How often are you interacting with him?
And it's a couple of months one, but if you may have a number of them. Now the other one is having a partner like just your co-founder, right? Like my co-founder, she calls me out all the time, saying, hey, you're doing this, stop it, and go few weeks ago, she's like, stop it, don't do work, go watch, go on Netflix, go and do some Homeland or something. So go and do your thing, right? And I think you need people to call you out. So not only are we doing TechTalk today, we have a bit of psychology.
It's relevant.
We have
Let me just quickly share, because you talk about this physical manifestation of stress. At one point, I was having a sudden moments of what not blackout, like you what you call it, like you not blackout,
Stressed out. What?
but there was a phrase I used that I forgot when I was telling somebody.
Yeah.
And he said, "Hey, Karam, your and Lucky is a seasoned entrepreneur. He said, hey, your body is sending you a signal that I thought it's just lack of sleep." He said, no, it's a whole bunch of things, right? You need to. I don't remember what he took. Said a step back, but he said you need to get more rest,
Yeah.
And you cannot push yourself to. There's a limit to where you can push yourself. And he told me basically to that, which was I thought counterproductive. I thought that it's a sign of weakness, and I needed to work harder because there's no substitute for hard work. And one of the top Indian entrepreneurs in India told me that you should never underestimate the value of hard work, and that was something that's in me. I mean, you can still work harder. You can work harder.
No, but that's why I say sometimes experienced entrepreneurs, experienced mentors, they can catch things that because they've been through that journey. I think sometimes we undermine the fact that we think we are the only one going through this journey. But I think a lot of people are going through this similar journey, and there are cues that they will be able to pull out. But I think that's a fantastic statement to
Insight,
close and insight. So I'm going to ask Karam now, and maybe not so much Karam, but maybe the beard itself, to close us with the final, what's the final thoughts from Karam and your beard?
I think this is the key takeaway. One of the things they talk about is probably in the post-COVID world, and I can finally now use the word post-COVID because with the vaccines on the horizon, definitely there's good news now for us to look forward to and getting a jab. And I think that we all have to be kinder and gentler and more gracious to each other also, because this COVID has shown the chasms in society, right? So we need to be more aware, more sensitive, and more generous towards each other, especially those of us who are in a position where you can afford to be generous, right? I think that's super important to create a better society, and you're absolutely doing and you're working towards that. So everyone who's part of the GoGet family is I think very blessed that it's an environment where the leaders want to take care of the people who are with them, and I think that's a lesson all of us can take. Micro lessons, within our own organizations also, right? And in our lives also in society, whether you're work in the supermarket line or whatever, we definitely need to be more generous and more gentle and more kind towards each other, because I think you're trying. Because this is the Great Reset, right? So philosophy or great thinker talk about this, the Great Reset. It will only be the Great Reset if you change the way you are acting and behaving now. Otherwise, next year, by the time everyone has the jab, it may be same more. You're more aggressive, right? And we don't want that, right? So I hope that's what happens, right? Take this Great Reset to become a kinder, gentler, better version of yourself, so that then society becomes a better version of itself. Humanity becomes a better version of itself.
And I think I many times people talk of this word bounce back. We need to bounce back.
Oh yeah, that conference.
Yeah, we have this conference, and one of the things I feel it's not about bouncing back, right? It's not bouncing back to 2019. It's about bouncing not forward to, right? It's bouncing back to our goals, our ideals, right? So our vision remains the same. Nothing changed, right? It's just that today our where we are has moved, right? So we just have to reorientate ourselves. Okay, here's the reality, and then we move back. Or maybe our reality is here. It's shifted, right? And it's about bouncing back towards that goal. So the goals must remain. And
you can tweak your vision. I don't think vision should be locked in stone, but you can change your vision. I didn't like that vision, right? Maybe you narrow it instead of like DNA was, we want to be the most credible tech media in Southeast Asia, but maybe we don't have the means for that now. But maybe just be the most credible tech media in Malaysia.
But maybe you should be. But maybe you should be in Southeast Asia. I said, look, maybe that's a long-term goal. And maybe Southeast Asia is goal A, and finally you get there. So I still think that I think it's important, that all of us.
I disagree. Help me out. I disagree with you. Gotta give him a hard time. I disagree with you.
So with that, it's on the hour now. Sorry again for the disruption that we've had. The first 10 minutes or so with no audio, but this has been Tech Talk Friday for all of you. Final thoughts, friend, as we close today.
I've learned a lot actually. In fact, from that article, segue, and actually listening in from about mentorship. So it's been really awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And I see we get some comments. A good show. Again, apologize for the audio, but we will be back next Friday. And I think we're going to be earlier. So next Friday, I think we're going to start slightly earlier. We'll 6, I think, right?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Malaysia time, Singapore time. So we'll start earlier. Our show is getting earlier and earlier because Karam's getting older and older. So has to sleep early. 9 p.m. is the bedtime. 8 p.m. now, right?
I'm only 55 years old. I got it. 10 more years of hustle, man. 10 more years of hustle.
Hard work, like the Indian entrepreneurs.
No, when you love what you do, it's not hard work.
Absolutely. So with that, this is Tech Talk Friday. We will see you next week, same time, same place. maybe not same place. Say at 6 p.m. next week.
Yeah.
Same place on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. We will see you. Have a great weekend. Have a blast, and welcome to December, the final month of 2020.
Yeah.